Okay, Stephen, it's that time of the year again, our annual interviews. Only one to do this year because things have changed quite a bit since we last spoke last Christmas. Obviously, you've retired from the development agency now. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came about?
Well, the agency's been abolished in just over a year's time, and I felt, well, there's never a good time to leave. I'm better at building organisations and dismantling them, and really talented group of people are being left behind to deal with the orderly transition to the new arrangements. The new coalition government wants a different approach to economic development and regeneration, and I felt now was a good time for me to leave, actually, and take my attributes and my connections, hopefully my recognisable talent, somewhere else.
Did the change come as a bit of a surprise to you, after what you'd been told in the lead up to it?
Yeah, but it was a bit disappointing. You were there when Vince Cable said very clearly that if the private sector and the public sector wanted to keep it at RDA, they could do, as long as they were adding value and doing a good job. And you know, within days of him saying that, in June of this year, there was announcements made that all the RDAs were being closed. So that was disappointing.
I mean, it will obviously have a massive impact on the local economy here in Warrington.
Yeah, there are 300 really high-value jobs based here in Warrington. Hope as many of those people will get jobs elsewhere. It's not going to be easy because there are cutbacks, as we all know, in other elements of the public sector. But I do hope that the people's talent and expertise is recognised and that they can move forward confidently.
Now, despite you leaving the development agency, you still have these strong links with Warrington, and we're here talking to you today as chairman of Warrington Wolves. How does the recession affect a sports club like Warrington?
Well, we have to plan for it very carefully. I mean, clearly people's income is not as strong as it used to be, particularly the disposable income. So we're looking at the ways and means of ensuring that the credit arrangements that we can have for season tickets, for instance, are extended and made more flexible. Season tickets are going well here, but of course we are wanting to push on. I think you've got to think about your customer much more carefully in the times of recession. Think about more flexible ways of encouraging people to come here and watch Warrington Wolves, you know, basically to ensure that we continue to bounce from what was a really good season last season.
You say season ticket sales are going well. Are they on track, same as last year?
We're 3% up on where we were this time last year, and that's encouraging because of the fragile nature of the economy and people's jobs position at the moment. There's a lot of public sector jobs here in Warrington, and we have to recognise that. But as I say, we're looking for flexible arrangements with our supporters to make sure that they can continue to enjoy the experience here at the Heatherwell Jones.
Now, despite the recession, Warrington Wolves are still managing to sign big name players, the latest one being Joel Monaghan. Came with a little bit of controversy with the stories about him in the Australian press and the reasons he had to leave. Is it a big gamble, Warrington signing him?
No, he's a great player, Gary, and players like Joel Monaghan, do not go on the market very often. He'll add a great deal to this fabulous team we've got here. He's an Australian Test winger and centre. He made a mistake, we recognise that. He wasn't pleased with his mistake, nor was his family. And all people make mistakes from time to time, and he's full of remorse, and he'll prove himself on the pitch very strongly. He's a great acquisition for this club.
Now, you've only signed him for 1 year. Is that just to see how it goes?
That was a mutual decision that we made, actually, not because there's any risk with Joel Monaghan, but that's what he wanted, that's what his agent wanted, and that's what we agreed.
Do you think it will help him having his older brother here?
Certainly it will. Michael will be a great support, as will the whole of the team who welcomed Joel extremely strongly into the team's arrangements and its culture. Tony Smith will provide the right sort of management and leadership, along with Willie Poaching, to make sure that Joel's talents come through.
Now, looking outside today, we can see a snow-covered pitch here.
Winter Wonderland.
Winter Wonderland, yes. It's a good job we're playing summer rugby now.
Yeah, it is actually, to think what this would do to the business of the club if we were still in Winter Rugby League. I mean, it's an issue for all sporting clubs, including famous Warrington Town. And you know, cash flow matters, but the fact we've got snow now, not in when we're starting, is important. We've worked hard to have a new pitch this year, and we're very confident that the new pitch will be ready for our first game here in the middle of February.
Well, you've got a new pitch. You've also got some work going on with new executive boxes, another 5 where the boardroom used to be.
Yeah, well, we took the decision that the boardroom was a luxury that didn't necessarily need. There's a demand for boxers, and we need to satisfy that demand. That's a very good problem for us to have, actually. I can't think of many Super League clubs that have got this sort of problem of demand and having to cope with it. So we took the decision to take out the boardroom and create new boxes, which will be ready for the start of the new season.
When you get additional income coming into the club like that, and with the salary cap limitations, how do you actually invest it back into the team?
Well, we've invested it in many different ways. So I think a very strong youth development programme, which we're seeing the fruits of this year. 5 players in the England Academy team versus Australia recently. The new training facility which we built at Padgate last year. And then improvements here in the Halliwell Dunes Stadium, boxes and other facilities. So we are a club that wants to be profitable. We want to be fair to our support in terms of charging the right prices, but making sure we're making investments into the team and into the stadium and into particularly the youth development programme.
Now, another new name we've got coming this season is Brett Hodgson. He's quite a good goal kicker. Do you think that will make a big difference to the team this season?
Well, people say we needed a more regular goal kicker. I mean, Danny Westwood did a great job, but Brett will give us a lot of experience. He'll be good for the club. He'll be good with our junior players, and I think he'll help the youth development programme in a very, very positive way. So he's not more than just a goal kicker, actually. I remember he was Man of Steel only 2 years ago, and people say he's slightly old to be in that position, but he's not as old as you might think, actually, in terms of experience and his ability. And I think he's a really positive signing. So 2 real world-class players are coming here for next season. I think we should all be pleased about that.
Talking of world-class players, did it come as a surprise to you when Chris Hicks announced his retirement?
No, not really, because we'd worked hard to keep Chris at the club for a further year. I mean, Chris has contributed so much to this club, not just the 3 tries at Wembley last year, but so much in many other ways. But Chris decided he wanted to retire and go back to Australia. His wife has a job back in Australia. And so, no, it wasn't a surprise. And Chris sort of left the club with our best wishes and very fond memories of what he achieved here in Warrington.
One question a lot of Warrington Wolves fans always ask me, when you've got a situation where you've got a chairman, you've got a chief executive, you've got an owner like Simon Moran, you obviously have board rooms where decisions are made. Who actually makes the final decision on a business issue or signing a player? Is it the chairman, is it the chief exec, or is it the club owner?
It's the board, actually. We have a team approach here at Warrington. It's true that Simon concentrates on players. Andy concentrates, along with myself, on the business opportunities, but it's a team collegiate approach to what we do here at Warrington. We are blessed by the fact we've got Simon, who is tremendous. His support for this club is undiminished. He works really hard and is obviously our owner, and we respect that, but the decisions are made here on a team basis.
When someone's actually an avid fan and a supporter, do you have to work hard to keep the feet on the ground sometimes?
Yeah, you do, but again, he's very respectful of the fact that we operate with a board, and we operate, of course, within the salary cap. We must remain within that salary cap, as all of the clubs need to. And so, no, it's a good business experience here, and I say it works well.
But if you can't all agree on something, who has the final say?
That's never happened in the 8 years I've been involved here. We normally work things through. I can't think of one major disruptive argument in our board in any time in the last 10 years, actually 10 years. And ultimately, it will be between Simon and myself if there had to be one person making a decision, yes. Okay.
Now it's time to put you on the spot. Prediction time. You weren't far off last season.
I think bang on, actually.
Yes. Well, you didn't actually say we will win the challenge, but you said you'd like to retain it. I mean, it's obviously going to be a big ask now to do it again for the 3rd year running, but a lot of the grand final, we've got to the playoffs and we've always disappointed as soon as we've got into them. Do you think the additions to the squad now will take the team just that extra mile?
Well, every year we've become a stronger team and a stronger club in so many different ways. And again, this year we're moving up another step. So it's all about improvement. And last year I predicted we'd finish in the top 4. Again, I suggest we will finish in the top 4. and we were going to work really hard to retain the Challenge Cup for a third year. Talking to some of the players last week, I know they're very, very up for working hard throughout the whole of the season against an improvement plan, and if we follow through on that improvement plan, we will win both trophies.
Okay, so if you follow the plan, you'll win both trophies.
That's the plan.
Okay, well, let's hope you're right. The weather, I think, is going to have some impact on the pre-season friendlies. I mean, what are the chances of the game at Widnes on Boxing Day taking place?
We'll wait to see, really. I mean, again, Widnes have worked hard to get the game on. They've done all the work on the pitch. But, of course, it's the inclement weather and the walk-up to the game and the transport arrangements, as we've seen recently in football and other major sporting fixtures, which may put the kibosh on it. But we're hopeful we'll play on Boxing Day.
And you've got the warm weather training to look forward to
yes,
is it Lanzarote?
Tenerife.
Tenerife this time.
Tenerife, yeah.
Andrew John's teaming up with you again?
Yes, he wants to come and he adds a lot of value, particularly his work with Richie Myler. That's really good. And, again, a world-class player. Again, he's had issues over the years, but, we see these things through. We're a very tolerant club, but we're also a club that's very focused on discipline.
There's been talk in the past of Andrew Johns having a bigger role at the club on a more permanent basis.
There's been lots of talk about that, and there's been talk in my house of us winning the lottery, Gary, but yes, there's been talk.
Okay, so you're not committing anything on that for the future then? No. All right. Anyway, all the best, Stephen. Thanks for your time.
Gary, thanks for being a critical friend as ever, and all you've done through Warrington Worldwide. Great magazine. It's going from strength to strength, and wish Warrington Town all the best for your season this year, and hope you can have a plan for improvement and you can come through and finally win something.
Okay, all the best, Stephen.
Thank you, Gary.